name is Amanda, and I am the moderator, and today we are showcasing your psychic tarot friends. We have three psychics on the panel today. First, we have Psychic for Lovers, known as Pastor Moses. He is a spiritual pastor. She is a psychic, tarot card reader, clairvoyant, claircognizant, intuitive, and dream interpretation. With over 30 plus years of experience, she's worked as a psychic online with keen, live advice, and five-star psychic advice. Her website is psychicforlovers.com. She does private readings, and her YouTube channel is Psychic for FOUR lovers. Next, we have Janet. Janet is the second psychic on our panel. With over 40 plus years of experience, she has been on over 100 plus TV shows, such as David Letterman, Sally Jesse Raphael, Regis and Kelly, The Joe Franklin Show, Joy Dayhow, and multiple radio shows. She is a psychic, clairvoyant, clairsentient, aura reader, medium, picture reader, palmistry, handwriting, pet psychic, and healer. Her contact is bklynjim123@gmail.com, and her cash app is Psychic for Lovers. Kathleen Avino is the third psychic on our panel today. She has over 30 plus years of experience. She was recently featured on the Bay News, and she's also been on multiple radio shows. She is a psychic, clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, empath. Personal readings and parties can be scheduled by contacting Kathleen Avino at gmail.com or kathleenavino.com. Today, we are doing general readings and paid readings. There are two options to get a paid personal reading. You can pick between these two psychics, Kathleen and Janet. $3 per question for Kathleen, $5 per question for Janet. You would need to pay through PayPal or Cash App before starting the reading. The second option is a paid reading, which is two options to get a paid personal reading. Kathleen for $3 per question or Janet for $5 per question. Plus, for a free bonus, Psychic for Lovers will answer the same question free of charge if you watch a YouTube video, like, comment, and subscribe. Our topics today is what happens when we die. Pastor Moses, would you like to go ahead and start?
Yeah, sure. So, what I believe what happens when we die, it's not like what we were told or what the religious society has told us about what happens when we die. I believe that when we die, we don't really physically die. We spiritually we stay alive. We always alive. We just kind of go to a different dimension. Our bodies, we shed our bodies, right? Because we no longer need it, but our spirit survives. And so when we die, we are greeted with people that we had spent our lives with, like people who passed on before us. So if anyone that's close to you passed on before you, they'll greet you, one or two or three. I think sometimes people say two or three people at a time. Spirits come and they greet you, and they guide you to your next dimension, your next step in life. So that's what I believe what happens when we die. We just kind of shed the body, but our spirit lives on, our soul lives on.
Thank you, Pastor Moses. Janet, would you like to let us know what happens when you die? Janet?
Okay. Oh, well, you can't kill a spirit. And what happens is you are part of everybody that made you, from your mother, your father, and all your relatives and everyone that brought you here from creation. But what I know, what I've learned is that you're when you die, your brain or your body, you feel wonderful. It's a opiate high feeling with the white light. And what I've found is that you see from other people who've told me too, that you see who you want, who you love the most. Everybody you know, everybody in your family, everybody you come from is there in the background, like going to a wedding and you're seeing all your relatives. You're going to see everyone, but you get to pick who you want to see first, who you want to talk to first, who you want to be with first. And then you see them, you see every single person you love, or even your pets, and everything in your life you get to be with, you be part of, and you're just there basking in the glory of everyone you love. And it's another dimension. There are other dimensions for people. I've been saved many times when I thought this is the end for me, and I got saved by forces like angels or something. I don't know what it is, but I know that there's another force, other dimensions, and people are there. I was pulled away from a car before it hit me with an invisible spirit. And these are people that are protecting me, and they're there for people who you didn't even have to believe. I didn't even know about it at the time. And then I started to study it and find out that it was happening to a lot of people, that your spirits, the people you love, are always there to protect you.
Great. Wonderful.
Thank you, Janet. Kathleen, would you like to explain to us what happens when we die?
Well, I don't know if you would consider it blessed or fortunate, or at least having the opportunity, let's put it that way. I had been hospitalized for anaphylactic shock. I have a very long list of allergies, severe allergies. One of my allergies, due to my situation with my lupus, is they had tried to use steroids. It turned out that I was deathly allergic to steroids. Wound up in the hospital, stopped breathing, everything shut down. And the first time, I was put in emergency. Then I found myself in a hospital bed. And then, but I was heavily medicated at the time. So they had the anaphylaxis under control, which is a severe reaction to something. Okay, you literally, eyes closed, ears closed, everything swells to the point of you die. Okay, so after being in the hospital for like 3 days, they decided they would cut back on the Benadryl, feeling that it had worked itself out of my system enough to lower the medication. However, in fact, it was too soon. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was set on fire, literally. My skin was on fire. My throat was closing again. My eyes was swelling. Ears, couldn't hear anything. Got the nurse. She ran to get the doctor. But in the meantime, it got so severe, I felt like on the sheets, I was literally in a bed of nails. I was burning up, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. It was done. The next minute I know, the split second, I'm floating off the bed. I don't feel anything. All I am is 2 o'clock in the morning, the blinding light in that room. You couldn't see anything. All you saw was white. You didn't see the walls, you didn't see the bed, you didn't see the windows. You saw nothing except blinding white open space. And standing in front of me was my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mother-in-law, who had just recently passed. These are all relatives in the past who I've grown very close to. And they told me, sit tight, we're going to take care of you. It's not your time, but we're going to give you some peace until the doctor gets back. And this lasted for maybe what felt like forever, but yet it was only a couple of minutes. That moment was pure joy, pure happiness, no cares, no weight, no nothing. You can imagine being in, a pillow of fluffy candy, and you're a kid and you're happy. The most joyous moment of your life multiplied by 1,000. So I didn't leave. And I'm like, no, I like it here. I didn't like it here. I miss you guys. And they're like, no, you have to. It's not your time. We're going to take care of you. The next minute I felt was a needle in my arm, a pinch. And then everything was back to normal. But I remember my face was full of tears. face was soaking wet with tears. And the doctor was like, am I really hurting you? And I'm like, no. And I just basked in that moment for a while. So there's no question in my mind, having firsthand experience, that when you die, you are greeted, you are loved, you are taken care of. Everything that we know as pain and struggle is completely gone. You just don't feel it. It's a blessed moment. So, hopefully that takes some of the fear away of people. If that would be helpful, it would be great. So that's my story.
Kathleen, I appreciate you for sharing that story with us. So today we're going to move into our general reading. So Pastor Moses is going to start off with a general reading concerning some of the days of the week and the energy surrounding it. Please be mindful that this is a general reading, so this may not apply to everyone. Pastor Moses, can you go ahead and start, please?
Yes. So today is Saturday, and Saturday energy is karma. It's the planet of Saturn, and it's karma. So I'm going to ask the cards. I'm going to ask them, what do someone need to know about the karmic energy surrounding Saturday today? Okay. All righty. Okay, I'm doing the 3 cards. And so what it tells me is that what they need to do is to let go, move on. It feels like they haven't, the energy out there is more of people who are caught up in the past. They have an inability to move on. They have the inability to move on. They're stuck. They think about the past a lot, even though it's behind them. They're constantly living in their past, and they're saying you need to walk away from that. It feels like there's an attachment. It can be something where losses. It could be emotional, financially, whatever it is. They stuck in the past. So karmic energy for you is to let go and move forward. Live in the present moment towards the future.
Thank you, Pastor Moses.
You're welcome.
So next we will move on to Janet, and today Janet will be reading the shapes of different lips by describing the details of a person character. Today we'll be having celebrities. Janet, would you mind starting off with Oprah, please?
Yes. Well, Oprah has very full lips, and those full lips mean that she is social. It's a strong sense of social responsibility when you have full lips, and they stand up for whatever they believe in, and they are very extroverted most of the time, but not necessarily. But it appears that way, but not always. And they raise their voice to fight for what is close to their heart. That's what both lips are for.
Thank you, Janet.
Wow, that's very insightful.
Oh, yes, I agree with you, Pastor Moses.
Yes, that was very insightful. Wow. And here's what I know about Oprah. Oprah is Aquarius, and Aquarius are humanitarians. So they do like to help people and things of that nature, and they're very generous in the heart. So that's really interesting, Janet. Wow.
I agree. Next, we will be going into Kathleen. Kathleen will do a quick synopsis on how she does her readings. Would you mind getting started, Kathleen?
Yes, thank you, Amanda. The way I read is basically the energy connection. And that's why I don't do general readings, because my abilities are geared for a person in a particular energy. So it's always a one-on-one reading. And what I'm doing is basically by giving me your first name only, you're giving me permission to go into your energy and answer all your questions. I'm also a medium, so I can see who is around you and describe them physically, and that's how I'm able to let you know who is around you. I try for a specific person if requested. I just can't guarantee it because that person has free will once they pass over to either stay by your side, cross back over and be reborn, or choose to be with another family member. Doesn't mean they don't love you, just means that everybody kind of spreads the wealth because there's, as everyone said, there's always somebody watching over you. So I hope that was a help. Plus, if you do choose to have a reading with me, please send your email to kathleenavino@gmail.com so I can confirm it. Okay, that would be great. Thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate you explaining your abilities and how you read. So next, Pastor Moses will be going back into the general reading concerning the days of the week and the energy surrounding it. Please be mindful that this is a general reading, so this may not apply to everyone.
Okay, sure. I'm going to do that now. And then after we do Janet, can we just talk a little bit more about what happens when you die? Because we want to
Yeah,
keep
sure.
that going. Great. Okay. So now we did, so now we have to do Sunday. We did Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is the planet sun. So it's usually happiness, peacefulness, relaxation. It's like people like to relax on Sunday, you know, spiritual. So Sunday, the energy surrounding Sunday and the sun. So let's see. And again, it's a day of peacefulness and happiness and joy. All right. So let's see what's going on. What's they want to tell us about Sunday. Okay. So what they're telling me is that Sunday, well, this energy around this is to get moving. Even though I know like it's a relaxed energy, it's a peaceful energy, but they're saying get things done, take care of business. They're saying that this Sunday is not the Sunday just to chill. It's a Sunday to get motivated, to do things, to if you're doing a project, to continue that project, not to just get laxy daisy or procrastinate. So it's really a day to just get things going. That's how they're making me feel. Get things going. Do not procrastinate this Sunday. All right.
Thank you, Pastor Moses.
You're welcome.
I agree with that and the whole procrastination thing, so I will take that in mind.
Cool.
So next, Janet will be reading the shapes of lips, different lips by describing the details of a person characters. So we are still into celebrities. Next, we have Julia Roberts. Janet, can you describe the lips of Julia Roberts, please?
Julia Roberts has a big, wide smile. Like some people just have extra wide lips. And that means they're sociable and they want to be everybody's sweetheart. And they're real gregarious and generous. They want to give their time and their talent, and they like to lend a hand to people. They radiate charm. They're always able to make others feel at ease, and they like to connect. But they really are searching for a meaningful relationship. That's the most important, even though they'll appear like they love everyone. It's they want to be the sociable sweetheart. That's
Wow.
what those lips are when they're wide.
Wow. They're sociable. Okay, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
really interesting. Wow. Cool. So let's talk a little. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amanda.
So no problem, Pastor Moses. So next we are going to go back into the discussion that we're having about what happens when we die.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna start again. So okay, so once we die, I did mention that there's a white light, and people probably don't understand what that's about. And then we have people that passed on before us. I'll give you an example. What really happened to my mother's cousin, which we call her our aunt because they was much older than her, and sorry, us. So we call her our aunt, but she's really my mother's first cousin. So anyway, her husband, very tall guy, must be around 6'7". He passed away before she did, and maybe about 10 years before she did. And then she was in and out of the hospital because she was very sick. And my mother's like, I think my cousin's going to die. I said, no, I don't think so yet, Ma. I think she's going to be okay. You know, and every time I said that, or every time my mother thought she was going to die, she did not pass away. She came back home. So one particular time I was driving on my way to work and I saw her husband. It's like the sky opened up and I saw him and he was coming closer and closer. And then I knew that she was going to pass away. I knew and then I called my mother and said, Ma, I do think she's going to pass. Maggie's going to pass away now. I saw her husband and it was like, kind of like a white light, but not a white light, but it was open, like a cloud open. And he just came closer and closer. And I knew that was, her time and he was coming over for her. So that gives you a sense, that should give a sense of peace when we understand that when we die, that we are greeted by people that we loved or loved us, or that we lived our lives with. Then they come over and they kind of guide us and help us through the white light, which is to be with the universe, God, whoever we call a higher source, to be with oneness with them. So they're guiding us to, like they say, the pearly gates. They're guiding us there to show us what the next step in our lives is going to be, or our spiritual life. So that's what I believe. So it gives me a lot of peace knowing that you're not alone. You're not going to be you're going to die and you'll be afraid and you're lost. So it's a lot of peace that there's people that love you came over to show you and give you a sense of comfort and peace and show you love. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit more, Kathleen?
Yes. My grandmother.
Kathleen, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you speak a little bit more on the phone?
Yes, my grandmother. My grandmother, when she was getting ready, she had said she called everyone up. She had 5 children. She called them up the night before and she told them straight out, I have seen the angels come to visit me. She's given me warning that I don't have any more time.
You drifting again.
Tonight to say goodbye to you all. Can you not hear me?
Now we hear you. It's like you drift in and out, but we can hear you now. Keep it like that. It'll be great.
Okay, fine. So she makes the calls. Everyone shows up that night and says, come on, Ma, you're not feeling well, but, we know that you're going to be okay. And she says, no, I'm not. She says, I want to say goodbye. I've seen your father. I've seen the angel. They're here for me. So they all leave and they think nothing of it. They figure, all right, we'll see you in the morning. I'll see you tomorrow. Wakes up, my aunt's lives downstairs from her. So they come up in the morning to check on her to give her breakfast. And my grandmother has passed. She's gone. She knew. She got the visitation. She got the information. And she passed peacefully in the night. About 2 weeks later, I was about 6 years old at the time. The day of the funeral, I come home that evening. I see my grandmother's face in my bed. Now, for a 6-year-old, it was so frightening. So my mother sits me down, having a Catholic background. My mother says, okay, you gotta pray because I'm stuck in purgatory, which made me laugh because this is a good woman. And the only thing she did was steal these guys in the grocery store because she thought she was entitled to that. She spent enough money in the grocery store that she was entitled to TV guide. My aunts knew about it, the people in the store knew about it, they humored her. And they would always give the nickel to the TV guide, okay? That was the family joke about how, my grandmother would get stuck in purgatory from TV guides. So we prayed, but every night of the week, I saw my grandmother's smiling face, beautiful hazel eyes, and there she was, and smiling. And after few days of rain, and I got a sense with the child that I knew she was fine. She was letting me know that she was fine. When we pass over, some of us are blessed to have this sort of validation of what happens to us after we pass. We're at peace, spirits floating, we're happy, and we're joyful. So that is what I feel. And I'm also doing so many memories that I know they're fine. We need to know they're fine. To honor the dead, we do that here with them. They want us to be happy. They want us to know we're okay. So once again, I hope that is.
Wow. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
What about you, Janet? What do you feel about the white light and people that we lived our lives with coming to greet us and things of that nature? Do you have any stories, or can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, I feel the it's a beautiful feeling, and there is no help because your mother and father made you. You got born after centuries and centuries of grandparents and people that contributed to your mother and father being born, and that love of your mother and father brought you here. There is really no hell. I believe that the hell is that you don't get born. Once you're born, it's from the love of all the generations that suffered and sacrificed and died so that people can go on and that you get born.
So that, but is that okay? What about the white light when you pass away? When you pass away and the people come to you, what about the family members and things of that nature?
I think there's another energy system in the universe. If you study physics, you'll be able to understand that there are other dimensions. And I wouldn't be, how many people were saved by what they call angels? I was saved so many times when I was younger. They're there. They stay connected to you, to your mother, your father, all your relatives, everyone in your family gets protected. And so if there is danger, they can go into this other dimension and rescue you. So I believe they're there and they know where there's danger. They really are in a protective mode. So much love is there that it's an honor to be able to save someone and protect them.
Okay, so when you pass away, the people that you love come to you in a white light, and that's for protection. Got you. Wow, great.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Janet. That was interesting to hear. So, Pastor Moses is going to do a general reading concerning some of the days of the week and the energy surrounding it. Please be mindful that this is a general reading, so this may not apply to everyone. Pastor Moses, would you mind starting again?
Yeah, sure. So we're at Monday. So Monday is the planet of the moon, and Monday represents emotion. So Monday's an emotional day. So think about this, like they did a survey, which is one of the most depressing days of the week is Monday. And do you all know why it's the most depressing week? Can anybody guess why it's the most depressing week of
Most people die Monday, 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that, but that might be true. Okay, anybody else? That's kind of scary. Anybody else knows why Monday? Can take a guess on why Monday is the most depressing day of the week?
Gotta go back to work.
Exactly. That's it. Going back to work. So most people are like, they're not happy about returning back to work. So they're depressed, So, okay. So Monday's the emotional day. Okay. So let's check it out. All right. Let's go. Monday. Let's see what's the energy around Monday. It's coming Monday. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay, hopefully everybody can see what we got going on here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So the energy around this coming Monday is that there is joy, happiness. I can feel like there's a feeling of wanting to be happy, feeling a sense of, even though it's, like I said, it's the most emotional day, but emotions don't always have to be bad, right? Emotions can be good too. You could be joyful, happy, whatever, but it's usually people are not happy about going back to work. So anyway, so this energy coming up is joy, happiness, feeling victorious, determination. I can feel like a determination to get what you want and receiving what you want. I can feel like the energy is just very positive, very upbeat. So it might even be a good day for you to think about work in a positive manner. I always try to think about it as, I know it's a lot of people don't enjoy their jobs, but think about what you enjoy from the job, and that's the paycheck probably, because you take that money and you buy the things that you like, that gives you happy, that brings you joy. You know what I mean? And your security, your things of that nature. So anyway, I feel like it's a really positive day. Okay. Hello? Son of a bitch.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You can hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, cool. I almost cussed. All right. So, okay. Go ahead. Are you there?
It's the first part.
Okay. Janet,
Yes.
you want to pick one of the stars and do that day?
Well, I'll do Taylor Swift.
Sure.
She has a heart-shaped kind of lips. They're like small, but they're shaped like a heart when you look at them, and that means it's a very sensitive soul. There's big-heartedness, sensitivity, feelings that are close to the surface. That uh, it's a very emotional transaction that they go through, and they pursue passions like writing, drawing, photography, anything. They like to observe the world around them, and it's more of a Cupid kind of loving. They like to feel love all the time, a feeling of love.
Wow.
And
And
that
what
Cupid's around the corner.
and what's the shape of her lips again?
I can hear.
What's the shape of her lips? What's the
They're
shape of
they're like a heart. They're small lips, but the top part is like pointy. Where it's pointy on both sides, and the bottom is round. They're small, and so if you close your mouth, it looks like you have a heart.
Oh, okay. Wow, interesting. Okay, that's very interesting. Wow, cool. Okay, so I think our moderator got kicked off, so she's trying to come back on. So I'll just continue. We'll just continue, okay, from that. So let's talk a little bit more the segment about what happens when you die. So we talk about how our spirit leaves our body, right? So that's the first thing. Then we talk about then being greeted by loved ones and in the white light. That's the second part, right? Of what we say, and then let's talk about that concept of heaven and hell. Let's talk about, where do you go? Where do we end up going? So I feel very strongly about this, that there's only one place to go, and that's with universe, God, be one with oneness. So, and I feel like it's nothing but love and light over there. Yeah. So when we get over there, when that white light opens up and we guided by our loved ones, and we go into that white light, there's nothing but love and peace, and it's just the best feeling. And I feel like when we get over there, we there's only one place to go. All of us go, good and bad, no matter what. They all go to that one place. And I feel like at that point, at time, you make choices. This is when you can choose, like if you want to come back into the body again, join the body on earth again, or if you want to just stay on that side and help out. You make choices. And then when you decide to come back, then that's when you start looking at what you've done in the past life and how you want to correct it or how you want to do it again. So let's talk a little bit more about on that line, and then we can move to the next segment. But again, like I said, there's only one place to go. There's nothing but love and light and peace and joy. And that, again, you get choices on if you want to stay and come back. So anybody want to elaborate on that a little bit more?
I feel that when you pass over, you go to a place which is a spiritual realm. There is no heaven, there is no hell, because life isn't about. We're not here to screw up and then be punished up. We're here to learn. So, when you come to do timetables in school, you don't get stuck in the closet punished because you didn't get it perfect the first time. School is what life is. So we come here to get other experiences, gain wisdom, carry to us to the next lifetime. So as we live a life, there's bad people in the world. But these are not good or bad people. These are people presenting experiences. Some horrific. You defend horrific experience. But you can learn to understand them in terms of the big picture. We're here to figure out what life is about and all the potential, possible, endless experiences that humans can create.
Well, that's why we're here. I want to stick with what happens at that point.
Well, that's first. Because if you understand that we're not to be punished, therefore there is no hell. Okay, so we just go back into our spirit, into that other called dimension, place, whatever label you want to put it. It's another place. That is peaceful, loving place. So that's great. It gives you an opportunity to reconnect with loved ones, reconnect with self, with soul, and then plan what your future is going to be. So once again, there is no fear. It doesn't mean that you don't be responsible for your behavior. It doesn't mean a free ticket to go run the grocery store. What it is an opportunity for deeper understanding. So I hope that helps.
Janet, what about you? Again, when we pass on,
I'm sorry, I have to go off. I can't hear anything.
What'd you say?
I can't hear anything.
Okay. I know that Kat's voice is going in and out. I do know that. Can you hear me?
Go out.
Can you hear me?
That helps.
No, we don't go out. Don't go out. The moderator's not there to bring you back in. Don't go out.
Okay.
So Janet, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm doing the moderating until the moderator be able to get back in. She's having trouble. They kicked her out. So we're gonna continue for a little while. So what I was saying is when we pass on that we go and to one place only, where the universe is at, your highest source, God, whatever you want to call, name the universe, we go there in that oneness. And then we get an opportunity to stay on that side or choose to go back. It's our choice, but we there and there's nothing but love and light and peace. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
On the love part, my proof is a woman was in the hospital dying. Her two daughters were in the room. And the woman really loved her husband, but who had died a long time ago. And first daughter confessed to me that she saw the father spirit come in the room to get the mother to die. she was dying any day. And the sister, when she heard that, she said, "Yes, I saw him too." I didn't know to say anything because I was like, I didn't know if it was my imagination. And they said they came to get her, but it wasn't her time. And they called me and they said, "Why did we both see it?" Because it wasn't her time. She has a couple more weeks left, at least another month, something like that. We can't do time, but um, he did come to get her, but she wasn't ready to go. And so about a month later, they saw him come back, and they saw him like surround her, and mother, their mother died with him, with his like spirit around her, but they saw it, and then they both saw it, so they both were crazy, and then she had died, and it was such a beautiful, peaceful, loving thing that he was there with her because they loved each other with so much love. And I think that from what I'm seeing is the um, the beauty of all the love of everybody around you. It keeps your spirit stronger, and possibly the people who are not, that are disturbed or with mental problems and everything, still receive as much love as they can get. Everybody that's born needs love, and they deserve it because they wouldn't have been born.
Wow. Wow, wonderful. Because again, the moderator is still trying to come on, we won't know what's going on in the chat and things of that nature. So we'll just keep educating people about death and things of that nature. So I'm going to do one more day of the week, which is Tuesday. And Janet, I think you have maybe one or two more people that you want to do their lips. And then we'll talk a little bit more about death and what happens. Okay? Hold on. Let me do Tuesday. So Tuesday is the energy of Mars. And Mars is aggression. So I tell people a lot. I tell people all the time that try to not get in any arguments on Tuesday. Try to avoid any kind of conflict on Tuesday. So I'm going to see what the energy is for this upcoming Tuesday. Okay. Don't see the cards. Do y'all see it in the screen? Oh, here they go.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time seeing the cards in the screen for some reason. Do y'all see it? Well, anyway.
Yes, you can see it. It's on the side.
See 2 cards.
Oh, you do see it. Okay, good. Because I see it. Okay. So, all right. So Tuesday seems to be a day that you need to keep your business to yourself. Very interesting, because remember I told you Tuesday is Mars and aggression. So it's definitely the energy feels like keep your business to yourself. Don't tell anybody your business, especially somebody that you don't know if you could trust. It feels like, especially something that happened in the past, that you might not tell anybody. Keep your business to yourself. Keep the secrecy. Keep whatever it is that you feel that, you might be judged on, So they're saying that even though you might think about what happened in the past, don't share it. Do not open your mouth. That's what it feels like. Be very secretive, because it'll come back and bite you in the behind. So Tuesday is a day that just mind your own business, keep your mouth shut, and go on with your life. Okay, Janet, who's the next person you want to do the lips?
Okay, we could do. I thought it would be interesting, for Kate Middleton, because she's always smiling and everything, but she has very thin lips. And I said, well, I'm not sure what that is in her. And so I realized that initially people with thin lips that I have met are usually kind-hearted, and they're usually a leader because they use more of their head rather than their heart. They lead They like to lead. They like to do things efficiently, bosses, and they like problem solving. Uh, they never lose sight of people in order to solve people's problems. They feel that they can do it because they work with their head, not just their feelings. And they like to be a team player in successful situations. They can't stay with people that are making too many mistakes, and they always have have to handle stressful situations because they try to handle a lot of problems at once. But they're very vulnerable to, they have a big vulnerability at that in their heart, and that's why they develop the head rules heart kind of situation because of their vulnerability. But they'll always emerge as the thinkers, and everything is more in their head than their heart, even though they have a heart.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So far, it sounds like I think you did 3 or 4 of them. All of
Yes.
them seem still positive. So that's good. That's so interesting. Okay. So far, everybody seems to be positive. Okay. All right. So let's go back to what happens when we die. So let's discuss this part of okay. So let's discuss about, like Kat was saying, that's why I was going to go to the next segment about, when we talk about people believing in hell, that the bad people are going to go to hell, or the people who commit suicide is purgatory, want to be in limbo between heaven and hell and never actually go in there. We have to name something to kind of distinguish it. So, like I said, there's only one place we go, and that's to be with God. But if that one place was named, I would say it would be heaven. But we have to give a name just to distinguish it. But yes, so for that, I believe that there is no hell, there is no pitchfork, red devil, fire, brimstone, stuff like that. There's no such thing. We make up that. I feel like that religion was made up in order for us to see that we're going to be punished, and that we need to be controlled. You know what I mean? And we don't do what they want what they want us to do, what they want us to do, or what they want, whatever. If we don't do what they want us to do, then we will be punished. So they use that as a means to control us. But there's no hell. So even the bad guys, the Hitlers or whatever, these bad people who have done horrible things to other human beings, they still go to the same place. They get an opportunity or a chance to evaluate their life. And now when you're in a place of nothing but love and light, you're going to look at the things that you did that didn't serve you, or there was a purpose for it, But most of the time you look at it, maybe this didn't serve me, so I got to get an opportunity to come back again if they want to and do better. But when you come back, you don't know that you don't know where you came from. You don't know who you are. So you have to kind of come back to try to remember who you really are, and then understand what your purpose is, why you're here, what you're here to learn, because that's going to be the next segment we're going to talk about, is why we're here. But basically, again, there's no separation. There's one place that all we go. But again, you get a chance and an opportunity to evaluate what you've done. Okay, Janet, you want to talk a little bit more about?
Oh, I got a good story for that.
Yeah,
First of
cool.
all, I feel that just from my own feelings of everything with the psychic world, the people have to have threats of punishment, because human nature is good and bad. It's not necessarily everybody has a good heart, and because it's good and bad, you have to be frightened into a possibility of penalties for doing bad things. Look at all these people now breaking into and robbing people because they think they can get away with it. And when people are suffering and starving, I mean, Good people will steal food, but most people won't actively want to hurt other people for no reason. And what I found is that, you know, the spirit, I go to places where I think the place is haunted, and I will go there and a place I never was before. I'll walk in the room and I can stand on a spot. They'll say someone died on this spot, and it's always right. The first time I ever did it, they moved the rug over and there was a burn spot. They killed themselves. They burned themselves to death on that spot. And they couldn't wash the burn out of when they went to re-rent it, they couldn't get all the burn out, so the rug covered the burn. And another place I went in a basement, they said there's some kind of noise in the basement all the time. And I went down there and I stood on a spot and said, someone died on this spot. And because the spirit was like so much in pain, feel it. And he said, yes, a man hung himself on this spot. You cannot kill yourself. So your spirit will stay earthbound until your normal natural death date. And then you will be moved to the life where you will receive the love or all the good in your life and the love you need. You will not be deprived of love. It's beautiful. But there are people that are imbalanced and they don't realize that suicide will keep you earthbound. And I can go anywhere now and I know what someone killed themselves and I know how hurt they were and I know all this pain. And they're going to stay there. Psychics could see it. Sometimes they come and go. Sometimes because you do have other dimensions, they can move things around. They can show their anger. Usually in places where there's wood or glass, they can associate and do that because there's a lot of water. They associate water and glass. In the big apartment buildings where there's metal, a lot of metal, you can't get clear connection with them because the metal interferes. But if there's a wood floor or the person has a wood bed, then I can catch the story of how they died from the wood because the wood holds in spirit and glass and water holds in spirit. And if you look at water, there's a whole thing about water. If you pray in water, and they got photographs of this in books, that if you pray in water and you love somebody, and they photograph a water crystal that you prayed over, that water crystal will show that the picture or image of the person you love. Or so water is very, very powerful for transmission of spirit. There are other dimensions spirit go in. It's so amazing. And if you say bad things in water, you say, oh, I hate you, I hate this, I hate that, it's going to come back with the photograph all wrinkled up and all ugly. And you could actually see the difference between water that's prayed over and water that is people are hateful. It's in the water.
Janet?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, but we were talking about when we talk about hell, the existence of hell and where bad people go. We were talking about that.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I hear you.
We were talking about the existence of hell and the bad people where they go. So we were talking about that part. Did you have anything on that?
About bad people what?
We're talking about hell, right? The existence of hell. Does it exist? And where do the people go? The bad people like Hitler and them, where do they go?
The bad people, still are, the good side of the bad people are exposed to love. And then there's lessons to be learned from them. I don't know more than the fact that there's a forgiveness, but they stay earthbound. People that have done harm are earthbound, and the people who made statues of themselves for let's say evil reasons, they were very cruel people. They made a statue. the reason other people take the statues down is because the bad spirit lives in their statue. They live in
Okay.
their own statue. That's where they are. And psychic people can go to any statue and get the messages from the people, but they are people that pretended, or for some, it's some good, but some of the statues are people who are not. It's their own way of thinking they're going to protect themselves from hell by staying in their statue.
Okay. Thank you, Janet. Appreciate that. Pat, what's your opinion about what we're talking about in terms of heaven, hell, and also the bad people?
Well, like I said earlier, I don't. Everybody's
Okay.
experience is different. To a degree, there is no right, like there is no bad or good, and that's why I feel so strongly after so many medium readings. Whatever you do on earth has to do with learning and wisdom. It's about being bad or good. It has to do with experiences. We perceive it, the emotional human beings, which is part of our nature, to experience quote unquote good or bad. Now, I don't feel that people get trapped all the time. I would say 99% of the time there's a smooth transition. People commit suicide cannot get help. Okay? They pass on. Some get confused, not because they're a bad person, not because they're being punished for committing suicide, but because whatever timing that was not conducive for their understanding. Years ago, I was on the road to Boston. I didn't know the people. I was through a mutual friend, through a friend who was having trouble. She lived in Boston. She begged me to come up. These poor people were having such a hard time with it. The whole house was loaded with spirits. And I didn't get anything. I said, "You don't tell me anything." She told me nothing. I got in the car, drove for 3 hours, went up to the house. I could feel it immediately. I walked in, and I was greeted by 5 spirits. Like what Janet said earlier, it's like they leave an imprint when it's not a satisfied death. Okay? I don't call that purgatory. I just call that confusion, because they are going back and forth. They're not stuck per se. They're just trying to get some answers. Okay? So they're always excited when a medium or psychic comes in that they can communicate with. So I went right to the closet upstairs where the guy hung himself. I opened the door. I could feel him. I could see him to a degree in my mind's eye. And I said, "What's going on?" He says, "Well, I'm not sure why I did this." And we had a little chat. And then after me explaining his life purpose, he understood it. And the right closet filled with white light, and he passed on. I went downstairs. Gentleman who was hanging around out of stubbornness, not because he was stuck, because he chose to stay put. It was his house, and he ain't leaving. Okay? So nice conversation, and he was very, very disapproving. It happened to be a gay couple that were together with children, and he was very disapproving of that relationship. So therefore, he caused problems in his world. I had a nice conversation with him. We talked, we chatted. I said, "You can stay here, but you got to behave yourself." He got peaceful. There were 2 other children dressed in outfits and holding hands. There was 2 children, and they were also they were going to their mother and father. They were having difficulty connecting with the mother and father. Okay, so we worked on the relationship and that their stubbornness. It has to do with stubbornness. They weren't leaving until mommy and daddy came. So we kind of brokered them a little bit, and they left. They have to understand something. These people have been trying to sell their house for 3 years. Beautiful piece of property. They could not sell that house for the love of God. They couldn't sell it for 25 cents. After we did this massive clearance, myself, my guides did this massive clearance, the house sold 2 weeks later. Because the parents were restless. They wanted answers. It's never about punishment. Okay? They're not stuck. They're choosing to hang around to get some answers, or they're choosing they don't want to leave. My house is an over 130-year-old brownstone. I'm the second owner. The mother died in this house. The owner died in this house. The husband died in this house. They left with no problem. She, according to the neighbors, was, hell on wheels. She wasn't leaving. She made my life here miserable. We had a nice long conversation. I told her, but she got better. That's not a question of trap. That's a question of choice. Remember, spirits don't lose their identity. They don't lose their energy. They don't lose their personality until they come into a new life. As long as they're hanging around spirit, they're still retaining who they were in that lifetime until they choose the next life. There's no hell. That's what I'm concerned. Each song. This is a subject, but that's what my experience, direct experiences, has been in terms of dream experience. So once again, I hope that was
very helpful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go back and Janet, do you have one more person that you have to do of lips? You did all of them? You have one more. Okay.
I have one more.
Okay. All right. So I'll do my.
I had Meryl Streep.
Okay, so let me do my what's it? So I'm up to Wednesday. So let me do Wednesday and you do Meryl Streep. Okay. So let's see. Wednesday. Wednesday is the planet of Mercury and it's communication. So Wednesday is a great day to sign contracts, to have conversations, real strong conversations. Wednesday is all about communication, technology, things of that nature, computers, stuff like that. So let me look and see what the energy around Wednesday. Okay. Okay, so what I get with Wednesday is that you've been going through some hard times. It feels like you've been going through hard times lately, but things are going to get better. So Wednesday is more about energy where things are getting better from hard times to better times. And it feels like that transition is really, really uncomfortable for you. Because it's like some people are used to chaos. Believe it or not, some people are so accustomed to chaos that if there's no chaos in their life, they don't really know how to relax. They don't really know how to just enjoy life. You know what I mean? Without peacefully. They don't. So it feels like, you've been dealing with a lot of hard times and now things are getting more peaceful. Things are getting more lighter for you. And so, but you're having a hard time accepting it, So it feels like, because of that, it feels like your guards are up. You know what I mean? You're not really prepared. You're not really ready for it. You're determined that things has to go wrong. Things must go wrong. If things don't go wrong, then things ain't right. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny that if things don't go wrong, things ain't right. So it just feels like, again, Wednesday is about accepting life without chaos. You know what I mean? Putting your guards down, being more prepared for what you deserve, and you deserve better. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And you deserve better. Okay? Janet, you want to go ahead and do Meryl Streep?
Okay, well, Meryl Streep has small lips, and that means they're a creative visionary. The smaller your lips, the more you're creative and visualize things. And it signals an outside of intellect, vivid imagination, poise, peacemaking. They don't think before they speak, and nearly philosophize, and they like to have really eloquent ideas. They're capable of changing the way others see the world. They always seem to tackle work or a project with a cool idea in the background, and they're always like 10 steps ahead. So they were good at like planning weddings and all the things where people want something creative, being a designer, and so it's visionary is the main thing that they possess.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. I do think that our moderator is back. Welcome back.
Thank you, Pastor Moses. I apologize. I had technical difficulties on my side.
Yeah, I know technical difficulty. I understand that. Okay, so anybody interested in the reading yet? Do you know?
No, no one is yet. I've looked over the chat from the time that I've been gone because it was still being live streamed. So I didn't see anyone in the chat as of yet.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit more about what happens when we die, and then we're going to wrap it up, okay? If nobody's interested. So what I want to talk about is that for people who's here on this side and they loved ones passed over, how we can give them some type of peace, to have a better understanding. So I'll start and say that when we know what happens, because a lot of people, it might be, and here's the thing, when somebody passed over, that our loved ones pass over, we're very sad because we're gonna miss them. We're not gonna see them, this lifetime again. So we miss that presence in our life, and that brings us a lot of sadness. But being sad, we're sad because of our own reason, our own selfish reasons, because we enjoy their company, we love them, we want them there, and we understand that. But it should not destroy your life for you to move on, because they go to a place of love and light. They go to a place where, they're almost more than happy to be there. Actually, believe it or not, it sounds crazy, but they're more than happy to be there. And I'll give you a story. And I think that Kat can relate to it. I'll give you a story of a friend of mine who told me years ago that when she was 8 years old, and this was a long time ago too, she was 8 years old, she had a real bad fever, which put her in a coma, and she actually passed away for a little while. The spirit left her body and she died. So what happened was, she says that she remembers laying in the bed, sweating and very hot. And then she went up, she felt herself floating, and she looked down at her body and she could see herself just still, but very wet, like sweaty. And she sees her mother and her aunt and her grandmother and her father. Everybody's crying over her around her bedside, and they're crying. And so she said they're holding her hands and holding your feet, and they're just crying. And she just sees herself floating. And she says that she's seen a little girl. She doesn't know this little girl now. She sees this little girl, and her name was Dorothy. And she says, "Dorothy, hi, come with me." And she said, "Okay." She's a little girl. So a little girl's playing with a little girl. So she went with her into the light. She says, "Come with me." And they went into the light. And she said, when they went in the light, there was a bunch of little kids, and they were dancing and playing games and running around, just like if they was in a playground. And she said she was having a lot of fun, and she felt a sense of peace, and a sense of love, because all of them loved her. They treated her well. She said she enjoyed it a lot. She was just so happy there. And she said all of a sudden the little girl goes, "He's coming." And she said, "Who's coming?" And they all said, "He's coming, he's coming." And they said, "Who's coming?" And they said again, "He's coming." And so they kind of ran away a little bit. And she said she heard a deep voice said, "Dorothy, you have to go back." And she says, "Go back." "No, I don't want to go back." He says, "You have to go back. It's not your time." And she's like arguing, "No, I love you. I don't want to go back." He says, "No, you have to go back. Breathe." And then she breathed, and she was in the body again, And she said, but the experience was like she just didn't want to go back. It was such a sense of a peace and love that it's like she just was so happy over there. Not to say she wasn't happy in her life with her parents. She was but very extremely happy over there. So again, as I say, to give people some solace and peace, it's like you go back, you shed your body, but you go back to the place where you came from, which is with oneness with God, and it's all love and all light, and it's all actually beautiful. It's what people say all the time. So it's nothing to be I understand being afraid of it because we know this life as being now. And I get that, but it's nothing to be really sad over someone who passed over, because they're pretty content where they're at. Trust me when I tell you. So that's what I want to say about to give you, give you a sense of peace when someone passed. Don't get me wrong, it's okay to mourn and cry. It's okay to miss them. That's fine. But it's not okay to stop your life just based on the fact that they're no longer there. Okay, how about you, Janet? Want to say anything about that?
I've heard stories like that, and I just believe it because there's no explanation. It just seems right. And many people have told stories of what happened. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Kat, what about you?
The whole idea of being a medium is to help people make that adjustment of loss. And having done so many medium readings with people for loved ones, the greatest satisfaction I have is to start the reading and feel how sad and the energy of that person being so depressed and lonely and worried, and to finish that reading and have them feel lighter, their energy lighter, more at peace, and able to at least get one foot in front of the other and continue their life. I'm told by every single spirit, without exception, that I have contacted and has contacted me, that they want the living to know that it's about living. Part of the gift is appreciation. When we lose a loved one, we gain appreciation for life. We can't help it because now we don't take things for granted. We've had the horrible things happen to us. We've lost the person most important to us. So we understand that every day is precious, which is the gift that the dying give to us. So with that said, when you're in a reading, listen to your heart, not your grief. You have to grieve. It's part of the process. It's part of that life lessons. It's part of the wisdom of understanding what it means to have lost. But crying and separating yourself from your friends and family, defeating yourself away from the world is not what the dead want. What the dead want is for you to do what they can't do, which is live life. Be happy. Spirits are not selfish. Humans are selfish. Spiritual beings are giving and loving and generous. They're not selfish. They don't want to hold on to you. And you never can have a partner again, and you can never have a child again. And you can never, that's not the spiritual condition. It's the human condition. Spirits want us to be happy and joyful. Husbands who've passed want their wives to have someone. They don't want them alone. Wives who had husbands pass don't want them alone. They want them with someone. They want them to experience love and live life to the fullest. I will say this, and please make this your mantra. We don't grieve the dead with tears. We celebrate them with laughter. So I hope that helps. And due to the fact we didn't have any callers, I'm just letting you know that we're all available for readings. And you can reach me through KathleenAvino.com or at gmail.com. And that's Kathleen with a K, Avino. We welcome you to reach out to us because we want to help.
Thank you for that. So I totally agree with that. And that's one of the reasons that I did not want to be a medium. Everybody has their own choice. I chose, and I told God's spirit that I don't want to be a medium. The reason why is because I wanted to help people here. I think the people here are the more lost. You know what I mean? They're the ones that need guidance. They're the ones that need understanding. So I wanted to help people here. So that was very important to me not to do mediumship because I feel the people here needs the help. When you pass
Well,
on
I think being able to do both is a bonus. You're
Sorry, let me
helping both the past and the living. So it's a bonus, choice.
Cat, honey, let me finish my statement. Please,
sorry.
okay? Yes, because we live. Let me finish and say what I feel for me. Okay, you said what you have for you, and that's blessing. Thank you for that. But anyway, I'm talking about me. Okay, everybody's individual. I feel like people again on this side is the one, and that's why I'm bringing this home to make people understand how much you are so much at peace and with love when you pass the other side. That I chose not to be a medium for that purpose reason. I feel like people here, when we talk about hell, I think hell is the choice that we make here. We make choices on how we want to live. People choose to live in hell when they choose to hold on to past pain and anguish and stuff like that and not move forward in their life and get the best blessing they can. So I feel like, again, these are the people that are really lost. When we pass on, we are not lost. We are with where we supposed to be, and we're we're one with God. That's why I feel like I don't need to contact or deal with that situation. I want to deal with people here that are lost. So that was my choice as me. Thank you. So one more thing that we should talk about before we wrap it up. In terms of, because thank y'all everybody, because it's making, I'm sure it's helping someone out there to have a better understanding of what happens in the past. So I'm gonna talk about my mother who passed away last year on February 24th to be exact. And my mother's always, to me, has been a happy-go-lucky person. To me, I always felt that way. And so my mother I said, Ma, I think we had a discussion years ago, because my mother had Alzheimer's and she ended up passing from that. But my mother, I think I said, Ma, you need to write down what you want when you pass away. How do you want your funeral, things of that nature? And she finally did. She wrote down what she wanted, who you want to invite, things of that nature. And I said, okay, thanks, Ma. So anyway, she sent it to my brother and I and stuff like that. So when my mother actually passed away, we read it and it was like, okay, invite these people, but most of them would have passed already because she was 86 when she passed, I think. 85, 86, I think. So anyway, or she's going to be 86 that year. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize if it's 85, 86. But anyway, so what happened was most of the people on the list had passed away already. We're dealing with COVID, so we had a limited funeral home. But my mother kind of said, have a celebration. She said, do not mourn over me. I had a good life. I enjoyed my life. So do not cry. I want you to have fun. I want to have a celebration. My mother was always been into having fun, having a good time. So what we did is we had we didn't have a traditional funeral. We did not. We had a whole program set up where we had dancing, we had poetry, we closed the coffin after maybe a half an hour, and then we kept it closed so people won't be sad. And we had a celebration. We celebrated and we talked about our old sayings. It was a really beautiful moment. Plus, on the way to the cemetery, which was a 2-hour ride, we I got a bus, a party bus. So we partied on our way. It's crazy. It's different. We partied on our way there. We got over there. We drank champagne. We saluted her because that's what she wanted. That's what she wanted. And I feel like that was a good way to go. You understand? Because we had limited amount of sadness and we celebrated her life. And that's what she wanted. She said, celebrate her life. So I feel like, and I was sad for a moment, but it was not only that I know, or I not even think I know what happens when we die, because you have that knowing, right? You don't have to die to know. Okay. I know what happens when we die. I'm at peace there. And also because, my mother was definitely wanting that. She really wanted that celebration. She didn't want you crying. She wanted you to have fun. She wanted you to party. She wanted you to talk about it. She wanted you to laugh. She wanted you to make jokes. And that's what we did. So I just want people to feel at peace that when someone passes over, it's not that they're in pain. It's not that they're burning in hell. It's not that, it's not a negative thing. It's they are fine. They're okay. And they will see you again when it's your time. Janet, you want to say anything about that? Janet, you there?
Oh, Jen. Well, I feel you're right about that, and I just learned for myself to make sure when I make my will to say, "Do not mourn me." I was happy most of my life. It was joyful. And I like that idea. I think more people should be told that they could do that. I didn't even think of that. That was wonderful.
Mhm.
You know, and so I agree. I think it's good. Wow.
Yeah, I'll show you the video one day. Kat,
Yes, ma'am.
you have anything to say about that in terms of,
Absolutely. Like I said, you don't warn them. You warn the lost. You're going to miss them. Of course, you're going to miss them, especially if there's children involved. Once I was invited to a group for children, parents who had lost their children, and it doesn't get any worse than that in terms of the human condition. I went to this group, and the interesting part was most of the information I was getting was from the passed over children begging their parents to pay attention to the living children, to not spend so much time in a place of grief that they were inadvertently neglecting the living children. Because many of these people had more than just the child that had passed. They had children that were still alive who were also hurting. So we have to be careful when we allow grief to overtake the quality of our lives. So it's a celebration. We celebrate the memories, and we're going to always have those memories, and no one's ever going to be able to take those memories away from us. So the idea is cherish what you have and put less emphasis on the loss and the future, but put that person's life in your life to help you be happy, not sad. So yes, they're okay. They're doing better than we are. Trust me, they're doing a hell of a lot better than we are. Okay, so it's a place of absolute gardening, if you will. Okay, so now is the time for you to make an adjustment if you are grieving. No one says throw it all away. Just try to put it in better balance between the living and those past. The living need us more. The dead don't need us.
Thank you for that, because that's exactly what I felt. That's why I said I made that choice to not to be a medium. And I thank you for that, Kat, because that's a very good point that you make. If children pass before their parents, especially when they're young, it's very hard on them. My mother, she lost my brother, because I lost my brother when I was 12 and he was 11. He got killed by a drunken driver in a car accident. And then my other brother, I think he was 19. So she lost 2 children at
nothing's worse than that. My condolences. I mean, nothing's worse than losing your child. But like I was saying, it doesn't get any worse than that. And that's where it's a real challenge in a person's life karmic contract. That's a tough contract to answer. But it's a tremendous amount of wisdom comes out of it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that I'm glad you bring that up. That was very insightful, because I do think if you are a parent and you lose your child, it's much harder on you than if you are, your mother's been with you, or your parents been with your father been with you for like whatever, 40, 50, 60 years. You know what I mean? As opposed to just a decade or less, So, and then my aunt, she lost her baby, was stillborn. So I understand, not stillborn, I'm sorry, crib death. So the baby lived for like maybe 6 months or something like that. So, I know it's hard on that. So I think we should talk about that a little bit so we can help them through that, because that's a process that's extremely hard, because I can't even think about losing my child at a young age, because it's kind of unbearable. So I understand that. And it's going to be hard to, like you said, is to console them, because you're losing your baby, and it's extremely hard with that. But all I can say is that it won't be any different. They will still go to a place of love. There will be someone that when they pass,
and they're going to be right. They're not going to be alone. They're going to be greeted by loved ones. And I think this is what I was saying. And then don't take this wrong, but it's like I feel like being a medium and being a psychic has also helped me to balance both, because being a psychic, I can look at the living and help that living person see what their future is, to help them see that they are going to get through this, how they're going to get through this, and ways in which to get through it, and to reconnect them with the living in a more positive way. So I think with being given both abilities, it really does help tremendously the living. Because like I said, the dead don't need us. They're on vacation. They're in a paradise. So
Right.
we're all have balance in our life, but we have to get over that hurdle of the pain, of the hurt, of the loss. And that's why psychic end helps, because then I'm able to see that person's future, that individual spirit's energy and their future and the connections with the living. So, like I said, it doesn't, as a parent, and I've had to work with several parents, and being a parent, it's tough. I'll tell you, I don't think any other karmic choice is any more difficult than that. But the beautiful part is the fact that these children then act as angels and guardians of their parents. And I see them with, the bowls of light, and, if they haven't been born, or the actual physical being walking beside their parents. So that also does give parents comfort. That child's not gone. It's just taken a different form. Plus the fact that, like I said earlier, that child, by choosing to leave early, has given that adult, that parent, their siblings, a whole new look on the value and the preciousness of life. So that's the parting gift of anyone who you're close with is left with. They leave you a gift. And it's very special.
Okay. Yes. So as I was saying, that people who like parents who lose their children when they're very, very young, or lose their babies, the pain is unbearable, and we cannot imagine. Like, and again, I had mentioned, if you have more than one child, a lot of them don't focus on their child that's there, and they neglect that child because they're so focused on their grief. So I understand the loss and not being there and the sadness of that. But remember, they're always with you. They might not be with you in a physical form, but they're with you in a spiritual form. So you could always call on to them. You can always speak with them. You can always ask them for some type of signs to let them know that they're there for you. You could think on them. When you think on them, they'll actually spiritually appear. And then again, they only go to one place where love and light is in. So they're in a very peaceful place. So they're not suffering. Even doesn't even matter how they passed, because once they pass, there's no suffering. Suffering stop. So even if it was something very painful or horrific or something crazy, just understand that that stops when they pass over to the other side. So I'm just trying to help you, anybody who's in pain from this, to help you, guide you, to let you know that we understand it. We're not without compassion. We understand it. But they do not, like Kath said, they do not want you to continue being in pain indefinitely. They want you to live your life. It's okay to be sad, but you have to work through it. You can't stay in that constant state of grief and unhappiness of the loss. And you will see them again. So if any condolence that y'all can give to the parents and whatnot, that'll be great. But that's very important. I'm glad you bring that up, Kat. That's very, very important.
You're welcome.
I have something that will help.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a poem. When I was in elementary school, a boy lost his brother, and he was in so much grief. So he had learned the poem, and I'm going to tell you the short poem that he said they gave him peace. And that was his brother Stephen died, and he was only like 6 or 7 himself. But he said, here's the poem. Stephen's up in heaven. Stephen didn't die. I mean, Stephen died, but Stephen's up in heaven. He's a good little boy. No, Stephen's not in heaven. No, Stephen's not in England. Stephen's not in Troy. Stephen's up in heaven. He's a good little boy. And this gave him peace and me peace. So after that, I kept the poem. I just changed the name for the person.
Wow, that's really cute. And that sounds like that sounds like it would come from a cow. You know what I mean? But it would give them, because it's simplified. You know what I mean? And it's good that you say that, because you want to simplify things. When we simplify things, it makes it easier to understand. And that's why I think that what we're talking about, it's easier to understand. It's simplified. And so I like that poem. I think that's a good poem for a child to work through the loss of his brother. You know, I really do.
Yeah.
Because I remember when my brother died, because we were 11 months apart. I was at my aunt's house when they told me, and she lives on the 6th floor. I had one thought of jumping out the window. I couldn't believe that. I thought about that for a minute. No, it didn't last long. It was just a minute because I'm like, you want to be with your brother, you know? We were very close. We were almost like twins, you know? So I wanted to be with my brother. So, and I was like, well, I'll jump out. And then I said, nah, I'm not going to do that. But we have these crazy thoughts that goes through our heads because we miss that person so much. You know what I mean? And we don't know what to do. But of course, you know, I didn't do that. And, you know, time, you know, things got better. But I did miss him a lot because we were very close. You know, we did a lot of mischief together. So we were very, very close. So anything else that anybody want to talk about that when it comes to the death? If not, we're going to wrap it up. Kat, anything you want to say?
Very helpful, everything that was said today. Very, very helpful. Even to me, you know, I get exposed so much. I've learned so much from this show.
Well, thank you. And you were very helpful too. I love some of the things that you bring in. I love that Kat bring in with the children because, you know, when we're talking about passing over, we're talking about adults, right? We weren't really talking about kids because you know how hard it is to lose a child. Just imagine it. It's just crazy. So I can imagine how hard it would be. But people, again, like we talked about, they're in a really, really good place. When people say that, it's the truth. They're in a place of peace. And actually, with my mother, when she passed, I had a medium just tell me, because they just said, oh, your mother's coming through. I said, okay, what does she have to say? You know what she said to me? My mother said, have fun. That was all she said. Have fun. And did I not know that was my mother? Without a doubt. Have fun. Because that's what mother was about. Have fun. Have a good time. She always said, have a good time. She was like, that was her motto. Live life, enjoy life, have a good time, which is a great motto, believe it or not. So when she said have fun, I knew exactly what she was talking about. That's all you have to say. I don't need any more messages. I don't need anything else. When she said have fun, that's all I needed. And I knew that's my mom's. And I knew she was like, here's your blessings, have fun, enjoy life, you know, enjoy life. So again, you know, I'm hoping this helps people. You know, we have about 100 years between all three of us of experience, of psychic, spiritual experience. So I'm hoping that y'all get a better understanding, a greater understanding. And we're going to wrap it up unless anybody else has anything else to say about what happens when we die. I think we pretty much covered everything. We talked about this. Let me go over it real quick. We talked about when we pass away, the spirit leaves our body. We agreed it with other, if anybody wants to just say, hey, no, interject, it's okay to interject at this point. When we a spirit leaves our body, we greeted by people that we know in the past. It could be 1, 2, 3, or group of people. We're going into, they're guiding us into the white light. The white light is guiding us to the oneness with God, universe, whoever we call it, the high self. We get a chance to, what about that? We talked about the Ascotch, or I say it wrong all the time, but the Ascotch record. Who know how to say that?
Akashic Library.
Yes.
Every single thing everybody's done, every single thing that was made, everything that was read, every single thing done is recorded in what's called the Akashic Library. If you want to know more about it, look up Edgar Casey in Virginia Beach, and they have tons of information about how everything is saved.
Right. So that's what you're saying. So everything we ever done, and every person in the whole world, there's a library of everything we ever done. That's what you're saying, right, Janet?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And Kat, you agree with that, right? Kat?
I don't see her.
I think we lost her.
Okay. Alrighty, so we'll just wrap it up. So I agree with you, but I also believe that your own record of your life, your past life that you just live, as if you pass on your past life that you just lived, it's shown to you when you pass. I believe that is shown to you. Like for instance, if you had like experience where you thought you was going to die, you're like, oh my God, a bus coming after me or whatever, I'm going to die. You can see the flash of your whole life flashing in front of your face, and real in a matter of a couple of seconds, because you think you're going to die. That's to me is the acoustic records. So I feel like when we pass on, then we are shown the acoustic record of our personal life as well, to see, for we can remember what we did, see what we did in our past life. And that's where we start to see if we want to come back again and what we want to do. Does that make any sense to you, Janet?
Yep.
You get an idea of like, what I could do better. I can do better. You know, even like I said, Hitler, he would look at it and say, oh, wait a minute, I can do better. Or maybe I need to help on this side. You get to see that, and you can see, I don't know if you have any feelings of remorse, but I do think there's somewhere where you feel like you didn't do what you needed to do. You know what I mean? And you might want to find a way to do better because you're there with love and light, and that's the energy. So you're going to look at things that wasn't loving, or you didn't learn your lesson, and you're going to say, maybe I can do better. So you got an opportunity to see what you did when you pass on, and to see back and look back what you did in your life and what lessons you learned and what lesson you didn't learn, you know? So I feel like that's another thing that goes on. And then you can make a choice. You can help on the other side, and you can help us on the other side. Huh?
There are books at the Akashic Library at Edgar Casey's library about it, where even if an artist said, I wanted to do all these paintings, and in the Akashic Library, you can look, if you want, millions and millions and millions of paintings, and you can paint things in your head, and it's incredible what's available, the abundance. You could see everything. If you were into lamps and you say, I want to see what antiques left for, you could see every lamp ever made. You could see everything. Can you explain how it's done?
Wow. Yeah. So it said, so you get and you'll see everything that ever happened. And I'm quite sure things that people are kind of thinking like, maybe I should have not did this and should not do that. But okay, so then we're with God. And here's another thing. I don't know how you feel about this, Janet, but I actually believe that when we go to that place where we call heaven or whatever we want to call it, I believe that we can, like you use manifestation, we can manifest what we want and how we want to live our life on the other side. You know what I mean? Say if I like beach, I like to be on the beach. I could be living my life drinking montage on the beach. You understand what I'm trying to say? I can choose where I want to be at. Like my friend Dorothy, when she passed, she wanted to be with the kids, so because she was a kid. So she chose to be playing around with the kids until she had to go back. You follow me? I feel like we choose.
You get to pick. You get to pick.
Exactly. Believe it, people think that we stop manifesting when we leave. But no, you can manifest on the other side as well, where you want to be at, where you want to pick, what you want to pick, how you want to live, well, not live, but how you want to spend your spiritual life. You understand? Where you want to be.
Like those computer games, like say a nice quiet guy I know just loves to watch all these murder computer games. That's what he wants. So they make computer games. They copied Al. They gave him what he wanted, even though he's alive.
Right.
But you can have what you want. You're right. I agree with what you say.
Right. So you pick what you want. And at one point, I because I'm not a big beach person, but I was gonna pick, just chill. I like water. I like to watch it, but I don't want to be in the sand.
Yeah.
Sand is beach for me. You know what I mean? So it might be that. I have not made up my mind yet, but I think I have to work on picking where I want to spend my spiritual life at, until I decide, if I decide to come back again. At one point, I didn't want to come back again, but I think I might want to come back again. So I might just pick to come back, but might not right away. Maybe I'll spend some time over there and just chill, do what I want to do, and then come back. It's crazy, but it's true. That's what I'm thinking about. What do you think? You ever thought about that? What you want to do when you get over to that side? How you want to live your spiritual life?
It's abundance beyond belief. It's just total abundance. There's no limitations. And I just want to know I left this life with a legacy of my work, and then I don't really, um, and I just want to know that I want to be able to think about all the people that I sacrificed myself to help, and
Right.
I'd like to see that for myself, so I can give myself credit for my own legacy, because
Right.
people
So
don't
you
really,
want to still,
right.
you want to still heal on that side as well, or you want to come back and heal again? Do you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I want to what?
Do you want to heal from that side, from the spiritual side, or you want to come back in the body and heal again, or do you want to still heal from that side? You still want to do healing in terms of spiritual healing or whatever, because you don't have to do physical healing from that side. You could heal from people from that side. Do you want to do that?
I don't know what I would want to do. I know that to me the most important thing is to be with someone who loves me and who I could love. That's my big
And that's
interest. I hope that would be my reward for my work.
Well, that's what you send out to the universe, and it'll come to you.
That's
All
what I put
right.
out.
Thank you so very much, Amanda. Are you
Thank
still there?
you, Pastor Moses and Janet and Kathleen, for sharing your stories. I really enjoyed hearing them, and I'm sure everyone who's watching also really enjoyed hearing them. We're going to end the live stream for the day, but we'll be back when, Pastor Moses?
We're going to try to do it regularly on Saturdays at 2:00.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you soon again.
Bye.